I'll go across to Zenith in just a while, but what next, sir? What next after we land on the moon?
You see, after we land, can I go? Yeah. After we land on the moon, actually one has to look at this mission in a very wider perspective. Landing on the moon is one of the most important aspects of this mission, but this is only the first step. The second step is that after a few hours, the rover will get out of the belly of the lander and it will start operating on the surface of the moon. Rover has got its own equipments, what we call them as sensors or payloads. It will undertake certain amount of assessment. The rover is expected to function for 13 to 14 days because that's the lifetime of this rover and this entire mission is all about. So it will undertake various observations. Particularly, there is a tremendous amount of interest to know more about lunar soil and particularly the soil in the South Pole because we expect certain amount of moisture to be present in the soil. We will study the electrical as well as magnetic properties of the soil also. Because idea is to identify the possibility of a water. And that's why we have chosen South Pole as the place to make a very difficult landing as such. And that would be the job of a rover. It will be covering a distance of around 500 meters from the lander. It will pass on the information to the lander. The lander will subsequently pass on this information to Chandrayaan-2 orbiter, and that orbiter will pass on the information to the Earth station on from where ISRO will pick up the information. But suppose there is some problem with the orbiter in picking up the information, the lander can directly collaborate or directly connect with the Earth station also, along with the ISRO scientists who will get that information in some point in time after the information is received. So the interesting aspect is that you have to see to it that how this how this rover operates. Because one aspect of a rover is that it will pick up the entire energy from the solar panels. The other aspect is that since South Pole is full of obstacles, if a rover encounters some sort of obstacle and is not able to move ahead, then there could be certain amount of a problem. So the lander has got cameras on board. The lander will be guiding the rover based on the information picked up by those cameras, so as the rover is not going to encounter any sort of a hurdle onto the surface of the moon for its travel. So this is going to be a very interesting thing. Maybe after 6-4, when the landing is going to take place, after 2 to 3 hours, because ISRO wants to make it sure that the dust or the soil which has been raised because of landing of the lander should settle down. Otherwise, our sensors will have certain amount of problems. And that's what is expected, that in 2 to 3 hours, the rover will get out of the belly. And when the rover functions perfectly for 14 days, then only we can say that this mission is totally successful.